Yeah.
All right. Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's me again. Of course, I'm joined with my amazing guest and one of my amazing co-hosts and friends there, Kashina. We always go about talking about the latest talks that like to travel around that of the diaspora, the black community, as well as society. We hit these conversations quite very often. We hit them quite very often and have this mixture of a feel that there's an ongoing saying, and I gotta grab um the title for you guys, so that way y'all know exactly what we're talking about. Um, but um, Sheena, have you ever dated? Do you know what an educated brother or a pookie is, as they call it? Do you know what an educated brother or a pookie? Do you know what that is or what they are?
I, I am familiar. Um, as far as dated, I think everyone has some level of education, but if you wanted to, are you define that for me? Define that. Because you might look at it a different way, I might look at it another way. So define that pookie or that high education man. Like,
So they have these narratives about the educated brother or the pookie. The educated brother is some seven or six figure type of guy. He makes money. He has degrees. He's an upstanding citizen. He's a pinnacle of um, the lateral. I would guess they would want to call like a Kevin Samuels archetype, an educated brother, a guy who goes to school and makes money and pretty much has like this Chadism about him. What would they call him? Pookie. You ever seen Oz
the
or any of
movie?
those? Oh, yeah, better yet, you remember in Soul Food,
Uh-huh.
and they had the girl who married the dude who had they met the
Uh-huh.
dude who was out of prison, but he got married to the girl.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That would be the Pookie. That would be Pookie, Jody, or any of those stereotypical movies where it's the man who has either got a conviction on him, a felon, he's been charged, he hasn't gone to school, he's been getting in and out of trouble, he has baby mamas, he wears certain type of baggy clothing stuff. That would be Pookie.
Okay.
And so we have the John Singleton narrative of Pookie, the Jodies. So we'll call Jodies. And then we have the Omar Epps, the brother who, what's those damn movies, The Wood and all that shit, where brothers go to school and join frats, and they are well-to-do brothers that that the women just aren't choosing. So now
Okay.
you have a visual of
I
the. Go ahead.
I do. No, to answer your question, I have not dated in a high education man that has all these figures. Have I dated an educational man? Yes, but a pookie, I have never. I think I dated one pookie, but I had to get rid of him because that pookie wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. But would I date a high educational man? It depends. It depends because sometimes these high educational men, they like their money to make them who they are instead of them being who they're supposed to be. If you understand what I'm saying, like they let that money powers them, and I think that would not it wouldn't mix with me because I'm not. I wouldn't date you for your money. I want to date you for who you are. So it's a yes and
But
no.
But let me ask you this, okay? Because you got the wood, the educated, classy brothers. Aren't those the good guys? Aren't those the guys that the ladies be overlooking? They don't talk to. They just look down on them. You know, the guys who might read the comic books, play the video games, or they into the nerd stuff. Don't ladies don't talk to them?
I think that's weird. Oh, wait, hold your thought. So, are you referring to the ladies don't talk to these high educational guys who are nerdy? That's what you're saying?
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, I wouldn't say that. I can't speak for women. I only can speak for myself. Me personally, I like different. You know, I always say that I think my ideal guy will be the nerdy guy because I need someone who is opposite from me. I'm on it. So I need somebody who's a little toned down, which is nerdy, who's doing what they're supposed to do, making their money. I wouldn't overlook them. But it still comes in as their money doesn't define who they are. It don't define it for me, I can say. But I think women do tend to overlook those type of guys. Um, because they're not in the trend. They're not into that high fashion. They're not into the world. They make their money, but then they want to read comic books. I don't see nothing wrong with that personally. You know, I wouldn't overlook them. There are a lot of women that do because they want those guys that glams that's popping and it's not for it. No, that's why it doesn't last. When they try to go get those high sedity, I'm gonna call it high sedity men.
Now, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna tell y'all, um, because then I want to also do the latter of the conversation. I'm not sure if Sheena want to tackle that separately tomorrow for that of the females, for the women. On do the fellas check out the basic Aisha, or are they looking for the Janet? Are they looking for that the divas? You know, um,
Mm-mm.
because I'm gonna be honest, I don't see brothers trying to look for the ABC church girl pennies. They were looking for the bad bitch, the Megs, the the divas, the showstoppers in the room. So
Really?
we
Really?
gotta. I'm gonna be. Well, see, we gotta keep it realistic. I'm real. I'm a realist. I don't pander and give y'all pretty rainbows. Now, when it comes to that of the conversation, um, women don't date the nerdy guy in high school and college. It's not until they make money and they are noticed, but also they do not have the game to entertain women who are easily bored. Um, and I'm listening to what you're saying and what's going on. Thank you, no one. And shout out to Super Mike. It depends on that of the crowd that you want to entertain. Because I know guys who are pretty nerdy and they're DJs. If you're a DJ, or depending on your skill or your asset, the women will like you. If you think that, hey, I want to go talk to a woman that does not watch Battlestar Galactica, but well, why should that matter? She should like me regardless. Well, she doesn't know what you're talking about. Versus if you can have a melded conversation, then yeah. I think we have it where there's because there's a we're looking at it as and I want to understand that of the concept of is the educated brother always the best choice or
No,
always the good?
no. Your
Why do you
education
say that?
is your education don't define who you are. Like, you know, you can go and date a doctor who's making tons of money, and they're because they got the education, and then you can have a man who's working in a warehouse. You know, you might find love with the guy in the warehouse better than the education, the guy that's who's educated. So no, I don't think that educated man defines who you want to be with. Just because they got an education, what? No, it makes no sense. Because at that time, I'm gonna feel like, for one, you're using me. If I was a man, this is how I would look at it. You're using me because I'm high educated. You're using me because I'm bringing in that funds. I'm bringing in that money. You know, that is how I. Your education don't
Peace.
define who you are. I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. Like, here's the thing about it. And shout out to Super Mike. Super Mike, I'm gonna drop the link soon. Um, no one says nah. Educated dudes do look for the girl next door, and or church girl, but that girl is not looking for them. I'm gonna say yes and no. I'm gonna say yes and no because there are plenty of women that are doing the right thing, but do you notice them? More so than that of what we call a pookie, he notices the good girl. He actually sees her for her good prospect, but he says, I get what, the Ishas in the streets are doing, the dirty Brendas. I get what they're doing because I'm out here in the streets doing the same dirt with them.
Hmm.
We have the precognitive notion that what's unattainable is always good. When I hear black men say that the educated black men are predominantly, what's going on, BK from Rocky? Shout out to my mods. That the educated black men are good men. I would have to ask that by what narrative? What's the narrative? Because we know plenty of well-to-do brothers, they're cheaters, manipulators, men that have used and abused, and have killed.
Hmm.
Whether you got a degree or not, you're still a man.
Right.
Are you saying that because you went and got a degree that you leveled to a higher pinnacle? Because this is why I challenge that notion of these men that are in these spaces saying that the educated black man has always been the good man. And I say, by what authority? If that's the case, there are a lot of educated men, and we see what they have done in society to black people.
Power.
So it's power. It's
Hmm.
power. You don't. You got to think. You got to have a brain. What's going on, Angelica? And so, we're both here. We're looking at it from that of the notion that I want to break this myth. Even I know I can't do it here because there's a lot of victimization. No woman wants to talk to the educated brother. But that's funny because when I was in school, when I look in school now, the smart guy who gets all the grades and is the well popular, well to do brother. That's who everybody wants to be around. Nobody cares about being around a class clown like that too much. I'm thinking about Class Act. You remember the movie Class Act? See, this is how we got to be more wise to it because the smart guy, they're the ones that get the shows, the TV shows. They're the ones that talked about. They're the guys you want to be around that because they can make all the money.
Hmm.
They get all the power. But are they always the good one? Are they always the virtuous one?
But
What's
I'm
your
not going.
thoughts on that?
I can't
Go
say
ahead.
that. You say, are they always? I I can't say that all of them are like that because I
Right.
do
There's
believe
no absolutes.
there are some that, like this person in this comment, let me see who said this. BK Rocky, I think he was the one who said it. Um, they don't cause problem in school. They're focused on the academic. I do believe that that there are some that aren't in it for the money or the power or I think that they are good guys. So all educated guys who have that mindset that just because they have that power of authority, I don't think it's all of them. I think there are some good educated guys out there who are really good men, but they are put in that category with the other set of well educated men, which might make it hard for them to date or have a female to look at them in that type of nature, because we overlook them and we pay more attention to the other high educated black man with so much power. So, um, I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on? I don't know if I want to ask this.
Ask the question. Like we're sitting here at the table amongst
I
men
know
and
we.
women. This
Okay,
is no different than if me and you were talking on the phone about these kind of conversations. You don't
right,
hold back. I don't even pretend like so many people are even here when I talk to you.
right. But when it comes to uh, a high educated woman, why are we looked at differently? A high educated woman with high power, that's in higher powers, why are we looked at differently from a black man who's also high educated and a higher power? Why are we looked at differently than that the other?
Because it challenges that of the narrative. It's a woman in its power. It's a woman in power and authority.
Doesn't
Okay,
make it right.
it's that of the weight. It's that of the because you gotta understand the narrative. The forego narrative has always been men of power.
Hmm.
Women gain that power when they have that of men under them, bannered under them, in that of the belief, pushing them in that narrative. So when a woman says, "I am this," I am, mind you, and we're going to take it from that of a black woman because, and we're going to be honest, okay? We're going to break bread with you. A black woman is at the lowest status of that of how proceed in that of humanity. It's not something I did. That's something any of y'all did. This is just how they look at it, and it's interesting when they think that black men you were at the pinnacle. If you were at the pinnacle, they nobody would have no the way how you're treated now. We definitely know that's not the laterally true. Whenever shit goes awry and they go wrong, shit. Sometimes they look at the black man as the first one in the room for the
I
most
agree.
part.
I agree.
So to see a black woman, first of all, you're not perceived as a threat as other women. Well, yeah, because other was them seeing an educated white woman like a Martha Stewart versus that of a black woman. We know what that white woman has done in throughout history. We know what she's done. Nobody there's a reason why we got movies about that. That white bitch has done turned the world upside down. Her own man has done burned her ass to the stake. Now the black woman is on a different timeline because she's done been through a whole apartheid of shit. And so after that of the terraforming of that of black ingenuity in society, the black woman's mindset had drastically changed because she understood that my my hormones, our femininity are going to have to take a back seat, and I'm going to have to take on some masculine characteristics to keep up with that of society, because I won't ever truly get protection like that. Okay? And
Hmm.
so, listen, I don't want nobody taking it, but this is, y'all don't believe me? Don't listen to me in Therapishina. Go look out throughout that of history at that of the counterpart. This is why I don't think why y'all listen to a white woman like Pearlie or any kind of goddamn white woman trying to talk about any, like them bitches be doing all kind of crazy shit. Those are the black widows. Now I get it, the black woman, you trying to play the game. But your main competition that you're trying to prove to is that black man, I can do just as good, if not better. And then see, the thing about it is, black man, we got to stop fighting that of always the black woman. And black woman, you got to stop fighting your black man.
I agree because
Right
we
now,
should, as Black people, we should support each other. Whether you have higher authority or he has higher authority, I think at the end of the day, we should all support each other. That is how I feel. But I know it's not going to be like that. Um, not saying it can't, but I know it's not going to be like that. But I agree with you. I agree.
it, so the thing about it is this: a lot of black genocide is matched into that of survival. It's matched into survival. When y'all bring it, well, black women kill their children. I said, how the fuck you want to say that? If you're looking at that, then who taught them that? Because honestly, if you look at who goes to Africa to sell them, what is it? Shit to keep them from getting pregnant. That be having birth defects on them. It be selling. You have it of other societies test on black women and children and men. This is not fact. This is not no kind of make believe shit. This is stuff you can actually look up. Now we post up and we come up here to America where we have it where the educated black man and the black woman. And the educated black man has solely gone unnoticed and respected in that of American society. And he tells himself, why is it that I cannot get the same respect amongst my own? Why is it that my woman doesn't respect me? Why is it that my children and fellow man don't respect me?
Because he get lost going to the top. And once he start getting lost, that's what
You got it.
that question's coming at.
And there we go. In climbing to the top of success, you must start to make a decision of shedding and sacrificing one identity of being a black man. And your divinity of loyalty will start to become skewed. When you have it where men are telling you that if I get to this level, I'm better than that of the average or the 9 to 5 brother, but you are the average brother. Well, I'm educated. What are you talking about? Because you know something? That means you better? Yeah, because I have a degree. Well, Negro, you have a degree, but you also have debt. You also got that shit from an institution. You still belong to that estate. What about you is more that of a benefit? Because if we look at it, then you would say, well, the pastor is educated man. Is he not? But we've
Mhm.
seen all kind of corrections for him. We have black politicians, very educated men, lawyers and doctors. And we're not saying that they're evil. We're not saying that they're evil. There is no absolutes in this. But the narrative that just because you're a man with a paper or that you focused on your education means that you are good by us. I know plenty of Negroes that they did all what they did, have access to pussy, to have the so-called say so. I remember a lot of black men in positions in the military, Sheena, and they talk to you like you ain't shit. They try to sun you, belittle you, talk down on you. And I said,
But
damn.
do you think that they do that um because of power, or do you think that they do that because they see you as another black man and they want you to make it? See, it's two different ways that you can think about that. So they
Yes.
might be harder on you because this my people, this my kind, so they'll put it more harder on you versus, oh, well, I got higher power over you, so I'm gonna do this, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So it's two ways to look at it. You just never know. Me, I'm a type of person, I'm gonna ask, is this the reason? You know? But
Being
yes,
po-
I am.
being positive or nice while being at the top is hard. It's not impossible. True. Nice people rarely make it to the top. Usually the ruthless make it to the top. So true. Thank you, BK from the Rockies. I never said that one time, and I've had plenty of conversations with Sheena, that getting to where I am today, I've been a just man. That shit is a played out narrative. What's going on? What's going on? 12. You thinking that you can play by the same rules as other society play by? That's a lie. Turn the other cheek, all that other bullshit that they feed you, that's some bullshit. Me and Sheena could tell you that society don't
Absolutely.
work. Society don't work like that. I gotta get what's for me and mine, and I can tell you, she's on that same trail.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
you got to understand there are going to be some lines that are crossed. And see, I'm not listen. I'm all for learning. This is why I go to men and women that have good information. I'm all for learning, but I'm not going to say that just because you are a brother with papers that you deserve access to that of a woman. You may not be qualified to handle a woman or to have a family. I didn't make the rules. I'm going by that of a divinity of truth. Just like I want to say, well, a Pookie should get all the women, but that's not true. You got plenty of brothers who own, who are into, who are doing things, who are building things, and they get a whole plethora of access. I've seen that they have their own trucking business, they have their own hustles, can make clothes and all that stuff. Those are highly educated men, and they don't have no problem. This narrative that the guy who wears the glasses and can recite a book, the nerdy guy, is a good man. That's not true. Just like y'all say that women don't notice them. I always ask y'all, like Sheena was like, I can only answer for myself. What type of woman are you trying to entertain? Stop the bullshit. Y'all want check for the church girl like that. You want check for the girl that is doggone busting her ass doing the 9 to 5. If you were, you've been putting her on goddamn videos, not the goddamn what's the dance girl on Saturday Night Live? Y'all like that? I like seeing that. But
Mhm.
you didn't want to see the girl who might have been a little, thick or plump. You wanted what was popping.
Yep.
What's your thoughts, Sheena? We about to drop the link, but go ahead and rip into it.
I agree. I
I know you
agree.
got something to say about this.
They don't want the 9 to 5 girl. They want those Soul Train girls and those girls that used to dance on Soul Train and all that other extra stuff. It's hard out here. I'm not gonna lie. It's not hard. It's not hard. Let me take that back. It's what you make it. But in the dating scene, when it comes to, I'm gonna take it back to the nerdy guy. I want to know, and I'm gonna ask the audience, do y'all think that y'all dating that nerdy guy, does it define who you are because you're dating a nerdy guy? Like, let me ask you a question. Do you have an issue dating a nerdy girl?
No, I like what I like. I like whatever I like. I like whatever I like. There's more than what's past my dick. If you understand what I'm saying. Don't get me wrong. I have my urges,
Hmm.
but god damn it, I can't stand a dumb bitch. I can't stand it. It gets annoying. Excuse my language for that. But some men like their women stupid. I like mines with some kick to it. I like mines with some knowledge. You got to be able to converse with me. You sit at my table. I like an educated woman, but that means we can do something. We can start taking some blocks.
Right, but Creative Solutions said a woman with class will require too much. Hmm. What do you mean by that? What do
See,
you I would love to know, what do you mean when you say that? That, a classy woman requires too much.
well, here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about it. And I'm gonna show you what I perceive as that. A woman with class has a standard. Anybody can have class. I know some women that they maybe make 40,000 or 30,000 a year, but they won't ever step outside wearing a bonnet with ashy. They don't go outside in their pajamas. They go outside with some dignity. Class is not by that of money. Class is that of character. You understand what I'm saying? And so somebody with class will tell you, you don't, hey babe, excuse me, my name's not babe. You see what I'm saying? That's a class. That's a
Mhm.
standard. Listen, baby, I took you out. So are we fucking or not? Oh no, oh no, I don't do that. I don't do that. I got to get to know you. That's a class. That's a standard.
Mhm.
It's a standard. Now I know.
Um,
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
So when that and so just a way as an educated man wants to have a certain type of class of standard that he should carry himself, so shall that of a woman have a certain type of class of standard. This is how you build on something. But you have some people say, if I spend over $120, you better be dropping them drawers, bitch. Go ahead.
Um, uh, I don't want to pronounce your name wrong. Hawia, you said you've been attracting a lot of toxic guys. Just because you're attracting them, that don't mean you have to accept them. Once you accept them, then you're opening it up for those toxic guys to continue to come to you. I just wanted to address that part there. And I'm
I
sorry
was
if I pronounced your name wrong.
no. I will say this because people say that they attract a lot of toxic guys, um,
Fact.
and or like I know I was attracted to a certain type of ratchetness. So I love me some girls and some slides. They got their legs lotioned up, wearing their nice little hoochie shorts, and goddamn walking around with a white beater on with no bra on. Mm, I used to love that. Boy, that I almost crashed my damn goddamn Buick and the goddamn Curve. Trying to talk to them. What you need? Some Mad Dog, a Black Mile. What you need, baby?
What changed your perspective?
I wanted growth. See, what happened was, and the thing about it, even for y'all who are listening in the chat, start requiring of them. Start asking the hard questions. So, what are you trying to do with yourself? What are you trying to build? Do all we do is go to goddamn Shoney's and then to your bed? And you want? How about I come by and bring you some Chinese food and some Chinese food and we eat. How about we go to a buffet? We can sit and talk. I pay for my meal, you pay for yours. Sometimes I know you sexual. You might be hypersexual and you want to fuck. I know you got a lot of songs out there about, well, you should just be able to, release. But see, when you make it easily access, I got what I needed for you. I'm telling you as a man. Once I fucked you, what else do I need you for? Unless I just need more access. And that's on you. You have the right to choose. But the thing about it is make requirements. And you're going to have some men that are going to try to talk you down. It's like some dudes will go into, and I'm telling you right now, I'm going to tell you right now, you got dudes, I'm telling you right now, that will go, that have money, and will still try to use their money to get the pussy. Listen, baby, I can help you with your phone bill, your car payment. Oh, I know, I done it. I don't got nothing to lie to y'all for. Money is the gate, the key to opening up them goddamn legs. I know. But
I
see,
got
what's
something to
big?
say
Go ahead.
about. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to ask this question, or not. I want to ask this question, or say the statement. Since we're on attracting, um, Hewa, sorry again for pronouncing your name wrong. You said that you attract a lot of toxic guys. Um, you said that you was attracted to those hood girls. Well, my question is, why do I attract guys that are afraid of me? I never understood that part. Why are men afraid of me when I open my mouth? By you talking to me, we chat on the phone. Would you be afraid of me?
It caught me off guard. It did catch me off guard. But then after that, I
Why?
embraced it
No, why did I catch you off guard? And see, that's the issue that I have. Like people, they prejudge you before they get to know you. You know?
because it was a no bullshitter, no chaser, straight mentality. In other words, you were set on goals. Say what you say, mean what you say, and know what you want.
But
A
why
lot
would a man be afraid of that?
I
because
know why, because you walk with confidence and
because
poise, and some people are taken aback by that. And some people be like, "Oh my God, how can she be so confident? How
so
can she?"
And that's not right. To me, I'm like, you judging me because I want more. You judging me
everybody
because you're
everybody
judging. You're afraid of me, and they tend to run away from me. And I had to sit back, like, is there something wrong with me? I had to ask myself
There's
that, like,
nothing wrong with you. I will be asking myself those questions.
Well, hold on, guys. How do you know nothing's wrong with you? Because when you ask yourself that question, are you going to give yourself an honest answer?
But
That's
why?
the
Why
issue.
should no?
I
I
mean,
disagree with that.
I know you rejected it. I know you rejected, but I'm asking you a question, and I would just ask it. Take a second and actually think about it.
yeah. But I could admit I was picking. I could admit that you know what I'm saying, so Mike, and you brought up a fair notion, like of course you're gonna say no, I'm good. It's them. It's always them.
No, because you're just showing up as your best self. Like, should you not show up as your best self? I would
Right.
say I would say maybe if you're not open to communicating, maybe that could be a problem. But if you're open and you're open to communicating, I feel like you I don't like this for how something is wrong with you. I don't like going I don't think anybody
You,
should
you
walk
don't
through
like
life like that. You know what I mean?
you don't
Absolutely.
Okay, so I mean, I'm just we're just going through something here. I just wanted to really explore that question because not only you but uh, Shayna, you guys said you both asked yourself this question. Now the thing is, of course, you're going to tell yourself no because you're going to do a human being's going to do everything that they really truly believe is actually correct.
I disagree.
So, well, I know you disagree, but
Let me tell you why.
we're just exploring this. We're exploring this, and I know you disagree, but I just want to go through this point by point, just logically,
Okay.
not dealing with just emotions. It's just a simple fact. You ask yourself the question. Okay, so this means that you're not getting what you expect that you should get. So, is there something wrong somewhere? Because why is your expectation not being met? There is something wrong with your equation. Because
Mm.
if you expect 1 plus 1 to equal 2, but you're continuously getting 3, is there something wrong with your expectation or is there something wrong with your math? You see? So there's a perception, there's something wrong somewhere.
hmm
And I understand that part too, but the part that I say I disagree on, I'm all about growth mindset. And I'm the type of person I'm going to ask you because I think other people's opinion matters. Other people, even though you know yourself better than anyone else, other people might, look at you in a different way and it's okay. I want to know sometimes. So I'll ask, is it something about me that's wrong? Like, tell me about me. Maybe I need to do a self eval on myself, and that's okay to do that. And a
I
lot of
think
people choose to not do that. It's okay.
you
Okay,
know.
what about this? You know what? I take what Super Mike said into consideration. And I've been listening to like other coaches and them saying, sometimes it's good to be optimistic and have a positive outlook to things.
I
So,
do
and
like
don't focus it necessarily on something is wrong with you, but maybe those people, maybe they haven't seen anybody like you or they just maybe they're having a bad day or something like that, so you take it off of because
I don't
I
I don't
get
look at other cultures. I don't
huh
look at I don't look at other cultures because the other cultures can't compare
not
to
other
one.
coaches but other people, like somebody. I don't want like what people think of me. So I just think about maybe that person had a bad day today, that person doesn't want to speak, or maybe this is a different environment and they have to warm up to me, and that's how I look at it now, because I don't want to go through life saying thinking something is wrong with me.
Well, here's the
Well, the
thing.
thing is that okay, go ahead, go ahead.
So here's the thing about it. Nobody wants to accept that they might have something wrong with them, and so they're like, "Well, it's not me. It's them. Them guys can't handle what I am." And I told this to one girl. You ever thought that you might just come off as a bitch? And she was like, "Uh, you just can't handle this." I said, "No, you look." I said, "Here's the thing. You telling me I can't handle this, but I am talking to you. But your response of how you speak to me, you talk to
Right.
me in a type of way, is very abruptly aggressive. Now, if I come at you with that same type of volume of aggression or angst, then guess what? You're gonna be, oh, whoa, dial it back, calm down. No, come on. No, I'm gonna give it back to you in kind. I have to be like this. This is how I have to be because people take no, you don't have to be like that. You choose to be like that. You choose to be. It's like a dog that's always showing his fangs every time somebody come on. Now somebody could just be trying to dog on, just want to just dog on, just pet the dog, get the dog a piece of meat. But the dog, After a while, what people start doing? Come here, dog. I'm gonna help. Close your goddamn mouth. Now here you go. See, I'm gonna give you that same energy back. See, we got it now. This is why I said some people they try to tell themselves this is no, they just can't handle you, sis. They just can't deal with you. Just like some guys, like, you know what? They just don't understand you. No, you're just a piece of shit. That's just all it is. You're making excuses for that of your nature for what you are. Just like the guys who said they're good guys, and well, I'm educated, I'm a good guy. These other lower Neanderthals just can't understand you. No, you ever just thought that you just have desensitized you done dehumanized yourself from that understanding your people, or you look down on them? Same thing as I'm hearing that when a woman says, "Hey, why are any of these men?" Or I keep dating the same type of men. See, certain men could give a fuck if you act like a bitch. They don't give a fuck because at the end of the day, they like you being vulgar like that. You know why? Because only those particular type of men will deal with you. Some men like the soft approach, and what I mean by the soft approach, they're not gonna come on a 10. How you doing, babe? How you doing? What you want? What are you trying to get? Okay, keep that Laura about you. Y'all remember Laura and Steve? Steve was very sweet to Laura. Laura treated Steve like shit.
Yep.
Oh, but Laura had confidence. Laura knew she was cute. But guess what? It took about a few years with Laura going through a lot of pieces of shit. But when Steve found Myra and started moving on with life, guess what? Laura was all alone. Laura was a third wheel. That's a lot of women today. A lot of women are Lauras right now. A lot of women think they
And the thing is, but check this out. The thing is that's TV. But guess what? I think if women, if people, not just women, just people, if people actually study that little piece of TV, there are some real lessons to learn there because some it's just like a seed. It's just like anything in nature. It starts off in an undeveloped fashion, and in that undeveloped fashion, it's not good. You won't want it in that at that point in time. But once that thing starts to grow, like she said, the growth mindset, once it starts to show forth what its intention, what its vision is, then now, I want you now. You see, and the thing is, people need to understand, like, the stages of people. You're judging a thing in motion. You see, when you're judging people, and that's something that people need to consider. The only thing I was going to say to just real quick is pretty much what BMT said. It's just like this here. She said, growth mindset. Growth only comes from our changing our perception. Nobody else can change other people. You can't change these men that you're talking about that are not doing whatever you're expecting them they should do. Guess what you can change though? Your perception. And because we're all programmed from childhood to expect certain stuff. Now, if you're expecting something and it's not actually happening that way, that's what's wrong with you. You're expecting something that's not actual. So you should go back and check that. And maybe then you can start finding what you're actually looking for better because you're expecting the wrong thing from the wrong type of person.
right. Like I'm gonna tell y'all right now, man. I've met some pretty amazing, highly intellectual women, but they don't know how to fucking connect to a fucking man. They smart, but they're incorrigibly horrible. And telling me that you make money or you a bad bitch or you drive a Kia and I drive a fucking Dodge Challenger. I said, I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. At the end of the day, fuck you and your car and your goddamn degree. You can take that shit and shove it. That shit don't mean nothing to me. That if you trying to say you trying to battle to compete to show me that you the bad one, then go ahead. Let me step off the track and you run that shit by yourself. And then the only thing what people start telling themselves, they couldn't deal with what the fuck I was about. Okay, keep telling yourself that shit. But see,
But who?
we hearing
But
all
what?
these songs, all these women saying, damn, these niggas are just using me, these niggas just running through me. I'm like, yeah, welcome. Welcome to the track of life called hey, you getting what you want now? You the bad motherfucker. So understand. You know what people do that? Listen, people use those type of people. Just like the guy who said, I got money, I got this, I got that. But then you know what? They're depressed as fuck. But they know all the people that sit around them just use them. And women are emotional creatures. So men, we understand that of the logic. This is why some men, they're dying to find out a camaraderie amongst each other men. See, I have no problem with Brother Mike, but highly medicated. Those are brothers that understand this is not a contest of who's the best. This is actually a companionship of us building each other on top of each other. See, all the brothers who come around me, it's a companionship of just building. It's not a who got the longest dick contest. But sometimes when I find it interesting when you'll see with a woman will say, why don't the men, why I keep attracting a certain type of man? And then you ask yourself, well, baby, just like I told y'all, I like the ratchet bitch. I like the dirty Brendas. I liked how they were nasty, how they were like talking vulgar. I liked drinking the Mad Dogs and the reservoirs and smoking the cigarettes and goddamn, we fight and argue and fuck. Fight, argue and fuck. I loved all that damn dangerous derangement shit. You know why? But we were fucked up. And we knew we were fucked up. We were sitting right there listening to 3-6 Mafia talking shit and talking about, goddamn, I can't hate that motherfucker on across the street. See, we knew we were fucked up. What's very interesting is the educated motherfuckers who say they got their shit together, y'all like fake Christians. Y'all so fucking holy out there now, you don't even want to call out your own shit. Y'all say thank you, hallelujah, and still be fucked up. And that's what's laughable. I can accept my sins. I'm at peace with that. That's why I knew I had to do better. I told her, hey, baby, I'm not coming back. Here's your keys. You know what? Here's the money I borrowed from you. Tell your kids I won't ever be back. It's cool. She gave me my job. She tried to fight me a few times. After a while, she started seeing that, damn, he's not coming back. When you get tired of being a piece of what you are, of that stuff, you'll cut it off. I agree with highly medicated said, niggas only do what is allowed. Facts. Another one,
Right.
another comment says, those are the men that she's inviting or that she gives the time to. Most women and men overlook that person that's good for them because they chasing a standard. I don't mind having a woman that literally has a standard. I like a woman with standard. I love a woman with standard. You know why? Because there's requirements. It's something I'm earning. I can appreciate. But then you don't have to come
It's
at.
got to be a realistic one, right?
It got to be realistic. See, here's the thing about it. I want to be a multi-millionaire. Okay, baby. Listen, I'm not going to be chasing the dollar every fucking day. Well, you ain't hungry like me. No, I do want to be successful. But my purpose in life is not to chase that dollar. See, that's the thing I hear a lot of people say. I want to be a millionaire. Why can't we just be successful? Why can't we just go get a property, a house? Maybe if we want a one-day trial for like a little, van and, do some, like have a hustle, that's fine. Something that we can leave the children. Something that we can leave and we can actually be proud of. You don't have to have our name written in the concrete, but you just got to do well. Well, I like a street hustle. I don't like them goddamn 9-to-5 brothers. Then you'll have a bunch of black men start talking about them women. See, the women want them kind of brothers. That type of woman wants that type of man. Versus I know plenty of dudes at Walmart that be talking to the women at Walmart and they be just fine. Men that work at Lowe's, Home Depot, or work factory jobs or work a 9-to-5, go home to families or their girlfriend. Same thing as women that work at call centers or have an education or CNAs or whatever they are, that take them out to eat every weekend. It is what it is. You choose what you want to entertain. I'm not going to keep playing the chase. I like you, baby. But if you keep on trying to bullshit me and say, well, you just can't handle me, stay your ass right there, bitch.
But
I,
what
I,
woman is saying that?
what women? You know how many women say that now? Because they've been hurt so badly, just like a lot of hurt men. They hurt so badly, and they playing goddamn. You got to make up the negative deficit for that of the sins of others. I don't play them games. You're with that person is with that person. I'm not that person. There are women that say that. You got women that get online and talk like that right now. It's these niggas that do that. No, no, that's that nigga. This Negro right here ain't do the shit that Negro was doing. What the fuck you did with that Negro that got you knocked up or fucked you over? That's him. I don't judge y'all for the women that fucked me over. Don't judge me for the men that fucked you over. I don't like them games that you playing. Don't tell me about what that Negro doing. If that's the case, the white people are right when they judge us as a whole. Like, all black people do this. Well, then, okay, then y'all doing their game. Y'all doing their game now. Because I don't make it. If one woman hurt me, that does not give me a right to treat all women the same. It's case
No,
by case. If
no,
y'all
you should not.
so if that's the case, but I've been abused, manipulated, cheated. I had a whole lot of shit done to me. And I did also start trying to say, you know what, I'm gonna be an asshole. But see that's what I gotta be. But that wasn't fair. But you know what I was making? I was damaging people because I was damaged. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it right. I was damaging people that didn't mean no wrong. That actually were trying to be appreciative and also non-cheating in a relationship. So now they became vitriol people. That wasn't right. I can own my shit. See, I don't give a fuck what y'all say about me. Y'all ain't got no cross to put me on, no heaven or hell. But I know I did my fuck nigga shit. Some women want a man that will pay for them, pay for the time in case things doesn't work out. Well, that's the thing, and this is one that I appreciated when me and Sheena conversate. Baby, I'm gonna let you know right now. Sometimes if we go out, I'm not paying. I don't. If I don't got it, I don't got it. Baby, why do I always have to pay money? I was talking to a person that they always wanted to go out. You know what I started doing? No, I'm good. Why? You don't want to go out clubbing? Why do you always want to go out the club? Y'all got to start speaking y'all mind on how y'all feel about these shit.
That's
Y'all
true.
gotta start speaking y'all mind. Men, the woman can only do what you allow her to do. Ladies, stop giving that nigga your fucking car or allowing that man access to your fucking fridge and your legs. If you don't really, if you have to second guess it, maybe so, or maybe damn, I ain't gonna lie, he know my spot. He be making me wet and horny. Maybe you need to go rub one out before that nigga get to your goddamn around you or some shit. Like if you cannot control your urges or that of your deviancies, you're not ready to be around that of that opposite sex or people. I like ratchet bitches. Guess what? I stopped fucking around with ratchet bitches. Don't mean I don't like to look at them, but I know my devil. I know my issues. I know that's why I don't play around. Black men,
But
they will. They won't.
BMT, as you get older, though, you get a little bit more able to control. Usually, I should say, not all the time, but a lot of times you can look at something and just not in, like involve yourself in it. I'll say it that way.
No. You're right. You're right. Like here's the thing about it, Mike, and that's why I appreciate whenever me and you had our men's conversation. We've had to go through some things to appreciate the good women that come in our path. You know what I'm saying? So when this is why when y'all wonder why the toxic guy seeks out the good women, it's because they come from that of a toxic position. It's just like Lazarus when he was in hell, and he said, "Just give me a cool, fresh water." Sheena in Creative Solutions, you're that cool, freshing taste of water, while a lot of these men are in hell. So, but the thing about it is, sooner or later, the heat's going to turn up. You understand me? And so you got to, with some men, they've always been overlooked by women. So guess what? Now that they're in a position of power, I can deal it back 10 times fold. Now I can treat y'all like shit, like those women that treated me like shit. That's why you hear this online where a lot of those dudes like, I'm gonna go around and fuck all these bitches because that's what the women are doing. I'm gonna go around and do X, Y, and Z, but that's what women do. Nigga, you a man. What the fuck you trying to compete with the fucking women? I don't try to compete with Pookie or the guy who's getting pussy in high school. The fuck I'm a grown ass man now. Got over that shit. Move the fuck on, man. I don't got like you know what I'm saying. Listen, bro. Shout out to my homie, Jufy, amazing, smart, highly intellectual brother. I am not jealous of him. I respect him. The ladies, they love him. I respect it. But the thing about it is the same thing for a lot of y'all ladies. Y'all don't got to try to compete with these young girls and be all sexual and explicit out here and busting it and dropping it. Do that for your fucking man. You don't got to try to be out there with these girls. I know I'm a bad bitch. Baby, stop. You 44 years old. Age was great.
And that's key. That's key too. The thing is, if you notice, the thing that attracts young men is showing your body, showing your titties, showing your ass. You're going to get a lot. I don't care whether they geek, nerd, smart, cool, bad boy. Showing titties, showing ass is going to attract immature mentally guys. I don't care whether they're smart or not because that's their hormones, that's their focus under 30. But once a guy is mature, if he happens to be single in his like I would say 40s and up, I mean he's halfway, I guess, rational or decent, not a weirdo, just a decent guy, I should say. If he happens to be single, he's not going to be necessarily going for wild type person. You can't necessarily just attract him with that. He's going to
Right.
be, usually looking for a more stable. If he's looking for somebody stable, he's looking for somebody a little bit more stable. I mean, he's going to want you to have. It's just going to be a little bit more involved where you but he's gonna have his demons because if he's that age, he's gonna have somebody, some old chicks or something, and you're gonna have your stuff. So, people need to understand that you're not gonna be getting all this perfection stuff that you done had wrapped up in your head. This is the issue. Because the issue is people get disappointed. Once a person gets in their mind they feel disappointed or they feel betrayed in any fashion, then they cut everything off a lot of times and then they flip into a different mode and then they can't forgive, they can't adjust their thinking, and now this person goes from the best person in the universe overnight to now this is a narcissist. Oh, he's trying to control me. And wait, just last week y'all motherfuckers was having fun playing, going all over the place joking, but now this guy is a narcissist and it took you 2 years to figure this out.
They've been knew them.
This is the
They've been
problem because yeah, that's my thing is people are expecting certain perfections, and then once it becomes clear, oh, now the person showed you their actual this side of them. It's the same person, but now you see this. Oh, now they're the scum of the earth. That's the problem.
they've been seeing start seeing those signs. They just ignored them.
Yeah, and if they ignored them, that's what's wrong with them. They're ignoring something. You got to accept the truth. Then people try to tell you the truth. You got to be able to handle their truth. If this is the person you say you're doing, this is commitment. You don't want nobody hiding nothing from you. This person tells you, "Oh, I like this weird thing," or and you find that disgusting. Now, you need to learn those certain things. Oh, this person tells you, oh, I haven't seen my kid and or some weird, whatever thing that might disappoint you. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is. And you heard it, but you, like you said, either ignore it or you just choose not to want to hear it no more. You don't try to heal that person, or whatever, conversate about it and try to get over the issue or try to work with the issue. This is the person you want them to work through your little issues, but you don't want to work through their stuff. You see what I'm saying? See this impatience with other people's stuff. That's a problem. Everybody has to be perfect, but you don't have to be perfect, and they have to accept your crap, but you can't accept their stuff. And see, this is the issue with a lot of people. And then, uh, you know, that's it's this is a lot of times this is the problem with people breaking up their relationships, and they keep doing this over and over again till they're old. And now they're angry and bitter at all. Now they start blanketing, just like BMT said. And just blanket the whole genre. Oh, these men. Like every single man is that way. But it's you. You're having a perception issue. Not There's nothing actually wrong with you as a human being, but it's just something wrong with your perception of other human beings. You see, that's the issue. And you're disappointing yourself because of your expectations of other regular, normal human beings who are not perfect.
I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying, but how I'm set up, I ain't got time. That's the most I'm gonna say. I ain't got time.
And that's
Like,
good. Be honest with yourself.
I ain't
And
got
that's just what I'm saying. Yeah, be honest with yourself, but just understand there's another human being out there that's going to say the exact same thing. I don't have time. And
and
then
I
two people don't have time, they don't make any progress. And the people who do have time for each other are going to have to make progress. That's it.
Sorry about that. Had to go. Had to go get my car ready. It is freezing cold outside. So,
Mhm.
all right, it's cold. But I'm gonna tell y'all this. Listen, an educated brother can come in all shapes and sizes, and all types of economic classes. Okay, this notion that because you were the nerdy guy does not mean you was always the good guy. Okay, maybe you was not ready. I know plenty of guys who have an obsession. They put pussy over their responsibilities. I know plenty of guys. I've been inside that family court because you got these on, because you went to college. Don't mean you're a good guy because you swore in to a frat, a masonry hall, or you belong to whatever type of business or group. Does not mean that you are a good person. I'm not saying that you're a bad person. You're a human. It's just circumstances. And it's just circumvented opportunity. Okay? That guy who was coach, the coach of the goddamn Celtics, right? That's an educator, brother. But what did he
He's
do?
a good man. He's a
He
good
was a good
man.
man. He was a good man. He was a good brother. But guess what he did? Stepped out on his own woman and was fucking women all over the goddamn Celtics.
And
God,
what did his woman do? What did Nina do?
take him
She
right
dealt
back.
with it. See? She dealt with it. She figured it out. She's working it out. Just like Hillary Clinton did. This is what I'm telling people. These are human beings. Sorry, guys. This is the issue here. I know a
I
lot of people
disagree
stay
with
built
that.
like that, but this is what actually happened. These are people who are working through issues.
If the foot was on the other side, would he be doing that for her?
We don't know that. There are some men who have taken their woman's infidelities and issues and worked it out.
How
I
There
often?
are people who have done that. I mean, see, now we're getting into tit for tat, and
Exactly.
that's
Like,
not that, but that doesn't actually anybody would tell you tit for tat destroys any chance of a relationship. You got to throw that tit for tat stuff out of. If you keep once you start keeping measurements, it's over. It's just
stepping out
about trying to
destroyed it.
fix the situation.
Stepping out destroyed it. He shouldn't have did it.
Okay, well, yeah, but guess what? It was his issue, and his wife, his woman,
I'm,
decided to work through that issue, and they are going to figure it out.
I'm gonna tell y'all this, and this is his thing about it, and y'all both are right. And I'm also, but I hear, but I'm gonna be honest, man. You can never tell somebody, well, girl, you should leave that man. I've heard that shit happen so many fucking times. And then after that, what happens? Did you solve your situation? Did it get better? You know what I'm saying? How did it work its way out? Versus same way as we hear a lot of fellas, Oh shit, she's what? She's that. I hear fellas. I hear female telling the fella, telling the lady, telling the he should have worked it out. He should have stuck it out with her. It's always depends on the ladder of what that person can tolerate and deal with. Unless that's you on that side of the foot. I know a woman. She stayed with her man even though he had an addiction. Guess what? He got through it. That's not for me to say, well, shit, I would have told you should have fucked that nigga. You got to be careful of the people that tell you to just get the fuck out on the minute some bad thing happened. Then why the fuck you got in a relationship in the first piece? Because I promise you, if your ass would got hurt on the job, or let's say you had got something, you would want to know, well, what's the depth of that person sticking it out with me? Or are you replaceable? If that's the case, then shit, all that time Beyonce done told your ass to the left, to the left. Guess what? When she had a problem with her relationship, Beyonce didn't dip or dive out. Her ass even not that.
Booyah, booyah.
Beyonce
I'm
made
just
more
saying,
goddamn
this is
babies.
the real world.
That's exactly like Beyonce made more goddamn. But y'all, if y'all be believing these women that be telling y'all, well, join me with misery. Same way as these fellas be telling these other men that have relationship, well, I don't have a problem with women. I wouldn't fuck with no women. I would never deal with a black woman. That's you, bro. That's you. I'm not telling you how to get along in your society or what you gotta do, but I don't have that smoke over here. I love on my women, but whatever you got going, that's on you.
Facts.
That's on you, bro. You got to work that shit out. So again, Nia chose him, and I find it interesting the women are calling Nia Long a fucking fool, boo boo the clown. Wait. So y'all wanted her to be single, but that's her man. That's her depth on what she can do. Y'all said strong, independent, and all the other
No,
shit.
she made herself look like a clown because then she went ahead and she blamed the whole entire team and say they knew that she was being cheated on and nobody told her nothing.
So you're saying she made, but here's the thing about it is this, and I'm gonna show you how it works. If we hang around each other, all of us hang around each other, and y'all know that something is wrong in my home, and y'all can't come to me, and you know how we know this shit is true? Because when Kobe's ass got in trouble, what's the first thing that Negro said when he was on national TV? Come on, Shaq. You know what we do. Whoa. What the fuck this guy with me? Now hold on now. So Kobe can do it and blame the organization and blame Shaq. And guess who lost their family? All right. Shaq lost his family. Kobe didn't lose his fucking family. You know what Kobe did? Kobe bought his wife a nice big fat motherfucking diamond ring.
That's right. Dang, I wish people could get this, man. This is the issue
Yeah,
that
but
it's
money,
like. Listen, let me say something. Well, I'm just gonna
you
finish
can't.
this. Let me. I'll let y'all. I'm gonna let y'all. I just want to say this little real quick piece. This is an issue in our society. When you marry, especially if you're married to somebody or you decide this is your person here, that's like family. If your son, let's say, does something you don't want him to do, let's say go sell some crack, and he has to go to jail, okay, he's in jail for 5, 6 years. He's not your son anymore. Okay, if this person, like your daughter, does some ratchet stuff that you told them not to do, okay, you're going to work through that problem. Okay, so if this is your man, this is your husband, this is a family member. Okay, now you are disappointed with this person's behavior. Okay, but if there's still actual love there, it's like you work through the situation. That's what will produce a stronger end game versus always breaking up the family every time. Now, I know Angelique said, should we not have expectations? But of course, you should have expectations. You should expect to be disappointed by a human being. But you should look at their past and look at their behavior in their past and in their other interactions. That's why you're always good to look at their family, talk to their family, and stuff like that. And then you can see how this person's track record is, and you know what to expect from this human being.
You
This
know
is
what,
the issue.
Taylor?
So from that human being.
I agree with you the way you put it and the way you say it, but I just there's a stigmatism that right. that women always take back the man and they always deal with the bullshit. And I'm not saying most of the time that's not true, but that stigmatism is it's out there. And I feel like it just needs to be changed because 9 times out of 10, if the foot was on the other side, these dudes will be the next day they will be in the divorce court. Next day they be willing to break up.
I
Believe it or not,
don't know. I do not know that because I've personally
let's
seen several guys who had that issue.
yeah. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell y'all a realistic, scary shit about men. So let's say a woman gets pregnant. Okay. For the most part, most women do not make the same amount of money as men, especially if something happens, pregnancy, gestational diabetes, whatever shit happens to your goddamn body. Okay. That man has to pick up that slack and hold it down. And as you know, it's looked upon as the man. Well, shit, that's your woman, bro. You need to step the fuck up. Now you'll have the ladder that men have in their mind when we sit there in that fucking car and we look at that house and we wonder, well, is all this shit for naught? I have two options. I can leave this motherfucking woman and go about my business. That's my divorce. Or two, I can keep on shoving on and taking care of her and whatever goddamn shit may come with it.
All right, guys, I gotta go. I appreciate y'all. Great conversation,
If
and
you
I'm gonna
want to
share
know,
this. Everybody share
that is
it.
ill.
Love everybody on the panel. Blessings to everything. Great things, BNT. Peace.
Now, if you want to know, creative, that is the deal that is prevented from it. I know you don't like it, but see, that's how men think.
Yeah,
A
so
lot
this
of
is
men
the reason why women are out there in the work field, and that's why they making their own money and they have their own bag. It's so that they don't have to accept this type of treatment, and
Absolutely.
you dangle that over their head.
Mhm.
And then listen to what you said. You said the woman fell sick. Now the husband got to do all the legwork. But let's turn it around. The man fell ill, and what does the woman do? She gonna makes it happen. But then on the opposite, the man he want a divorce. I got
Well,
an
how many
issue
men?
with
Wait,
that.
wait, how many men get divorced versus that of the women?
Well, then it don't even have to be a divorce. They just let him
No,
go.
no, I'm just saying. Hold on now, because the women they got a way higher percentage of divorce rate versus that of what men do.
We
It's
had that
y'all do
argument.
it higher.
Remember the argument? We said that women do the paperwork. Women go to the courthouse. Men don't do that.
They just leave.
Mhm.
They just leave.
Yeah, they go with somebody else and they still be married on paper, but they don't do anything about it. It's the woman who takes the affirmative action and does the paperwork and
Mhm.
pays the filing fee and
I,
So
continue on with the process.
okay, so there you go. So if you got that, so you got it down on paper. The man just moved on. He just moved on. It was honestly his thing about it is which one pushes more that for marriage, the man or the woman?
I feel like that's a good question. I feel like it's
You
both.
know,
I feel like women want the marriage, and I feel like for the most part, I don't know. It depends on the person. I
you
can't
know
really
exactly where to stop it. You know it's the women that push for marriage. Men don't even give a shit for marriage anymore. You know.
there you go.
So
All right.
stop. So see, there we go. She didn't want to be realistic about that one. Oh, it's
I just
okay.
said that. I said that depends on the
We can be
person.
honest. We can be
But
honest.
I said the women push for the marriage. Yes.
But then, so go ahead. So you pay for your divorce. Pay for your divorce and go out with a blade. There you go. We're joined here by my sister Angelica. What's going on? What's going on, homie?
Hey, BMT, can you hear me okay? Is my audio
Mm-hmm.
all right? All
Oh yeah.
right. Good evening to you. I haven't came over and talked to you in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
An evening to the lady, Sheena and Creative. Good evening.
hello.
Hey, I just kind of wanted to just cut in because there was a couple of things that I heard that were kind of interesting, and I just kind of want to quickly, at least attempt to quickly, kind of tie it into the educated man. Um, First, I kind of wanted to say is that I don't think education is a barometer for emotional intelligence. And I
Mhm.
think that emotional intelligence is what kind of qualifies or denies someone the capacity to be in a successful, thriving relationship. And that could be for a lot of reasons: upbringing, circumstances, experiences, pick your poison. It is what it is. And I think listening to you guys within the last like 10 minutes or so, we were kind of talking about communication and accountability. I'll just say, and this is, there is really no science behind this. This is just coming from my personal observation and experience, that a lot of times when we're in committed relationships, we have a tendency to forget that it's a student and teacher role. And what I mean by that is that we have to teach our partners and also learn from our partners how to effectively love and care for the other. And I think a lot of times people aren't educated and they don't have the training tools to be good teachers. So what happens is that um, they'll find something that becomes an issue, and their attempt to teach that person isn't all the way, it's not successful, meaning sometimes there may be some retaliation or like sulking, like the person doesn't get me anymore. And who is this person, because they don't understand my feelings and my body language. And then in worst case scenarios, there's humiliation. And you can never successfully teach someone how to care for you and do the things that you need to feel valued in a relationship when you attempt to humiliate them, whether it be verbally, social media, or any other means that you can attempt to do those things. Um, and then there's the topic about cheating and infidelity. And it kind of brings me to this place called rupture and repair in relationships. And I kind of got this from the YouTube channel. I can't think of it right now. But they kind of go over this concept of how to, when things do break down in the relationship, as a person that needs to be accountable for their actions, to appropriately and effectively demonstrate their remorse. And with that remorse and that apology also comes the action behind it, to let the person know that, for one, because sometimes trust is broken. We can talk about whichever situation, but trust is broken. Even in the case of like Nia Long, she was publicly humiliated. And I can't even imagine being the person that's a harm doer, how to effectively apologize and make amends for that. But for what, I didn't even know that they got back together. I'm just hearing this for the first time. But for whatever reason, he did whatever he did and she accepted it. Now, for us as the court of public opinion, we may not know exactly what those things are. But whatever it was that he did do, it was enough for her. And that's all that, I can really say to that. But I think the process of repairing a relationship, oh God, the bots are here. Um, repairing a relationship is a lot more tedious and time consuming that I think a lot of people have patience for. And then when it comes to either person being educated, I think from what I've perceived and what I can remember, people that have a tendency to be book smart aren't really viewed as viable in partnerships, because it's like, I think people view them, just generally, I could be wrong, but view them as folks that have the book smarts but not the social skills to maintain relationships. And I don't think that generally people are allowed that space and time to demonstrate whether they're actually capable of being good partners. So that's all I really wanted to say. I'm sorry
No,
if I
no,
was
no. No. Listen, that was good. Now, one of the things about it is, and listen, I enjoy it. Sometimes I be listening to Angelica like an audio book whenever she be talking and shit. But I'm saying, China's still my favorite creative. She's just a little sister that's annoying as fuck sometimes, but I still love her. Now, I try to make it where I'm gonna say this: you never know the depth of just how far you will go to hold on to somebody. Can we fairly say that, ladies? Can we fairly say that
I
you don't?
agree. We
Okay,
don't
so
know yet.
you don't know like the patience. You know what I'm saying, of just how far you'll go for that person. When you got to start making it applicable for versus that Like, damn, grandma. Like, think about it. You had it where a lot of people, and I don't like when people shit on grandma and granddaddy. Like, damn, granddaddy, nigga only had a third grade education. He was alcoholic. Motherfucker smoked. He cursed all the time. Grandma, why'd you put up with his ass? And then grandma will say, well, shit, he was reliable. I love him. You may not see what she sees in him. That's fine. Just like when some of y'all ladies, when y'all had your own girlfriend, ask y'all, what do you see in him? Like, ew, like he ain't that, he ain't that, you now Bradley, now that man was fine. But you saw a different concept of Bradley in certain scenarios. Maybe it was the way how when you asked him for a plate of food, he never would bring you a plate of food. The other guy does. Or maybe the fact that he actually compliments you. Or he does subtle things. Certain things about people gravitate you. Again, I can tell you one of the things, a big problem with highly educated people is there's always a domination, a fight for power. Whenever I watch a lot of these spectrum of highly educated people, it's like they're competing with each other on who's the best. And I would be like, why are you doing that? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you competing with that? Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, me and her have a friendly competition. Why? Y'all still making the same, the money going to the same household. Or, it's interesting things that y'all just, y'all just don't have to do. And that is always a problem. Like, I've seen guys, and like I said, there are bad dudes. Like, the bad boys always will notice the good girls. That's why they go after them. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
sorry, can
Because
you repeat that? It cut out. I didn't hear
a
you.
lot of a lot of a lot of from some of the areas where I came from, like the Otranos, out there in certain parts of the country, the cut, it wasn't like the good girl didn't get noticed, but she was an ends to a means to an end. If that makes any sense. In other words, she had the credit to get the car. I knew that she had stability when I had instability. Okay. However, I could not manage to keep up that certain standard of what she was outputting. Like how Sheena was like, why can't guys get nervous or scared when they get around me? Because a lot of guys can't manage to keep up that of what Sheena requires. And so Sheena will, what some women will start doing? Dumbing down their standard. Because they still want the guy. But they'll start dumbing down their standard to try to make up for it where he's coming up short. Or a guy, you know, you'll see an older guy or some guy dealing with a woman and she's not all that bright. However, he'll be around her and he'll keep her around. And y'all be like, well, damn, why the fuck are you doing that? And why are you around her? I mean, she's sexy as fuck, but she ain't worth a damn. She's spending his money. The kids don't like her. All the other shit. And so, you know what your baby mama say? I told you not to fuck with that bitch. Yeah. I know, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like fences. The man had a good woman, right? But what did he end up doing? Yeah, one down the street pregnant with a baby. And then he asked his wife to do what? Now look, so he asked Viola Davis, this baby ain't got no damn, got no mama. And she need a mama to take care of her. Viola Davis like, nigga, I don't even want you to touch me no more. I don't even want to fuck with you no more. But I'll help the baby, but I'll be compassionate about this child. But other than that, nigga, my son, we're dead to you. He still took care of the household.
She should have left with her child.
Well, her son was already grown. He's already a
I
grown man.
know, but she should have left. She's not obligated to take care of that baby.
That's true. That is true. And this is the thing about it. Some people do not feel like hitting the restart button at a certain time. At a certain time, some people don't feel like hitting the restart button.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Like some people, I'm just being honest. Like nowadays, a lot of people don't feel like hitting a restart button. Like nigga, you do you, whatever the fuck out there. But understand that when I walk in and I take my shoes off, and I don't give a shit if you see me take my, that does not mean you getting this pussy. Like nigga, you got the guest room. I got this room. When the in-laws come over, we can share the same bed. But we ain't. I listen. I'm telling you right now, there are couples.
What? That is sad though. That we like I
That's
can't
reality.
fathom that.
But see, that's the thing about it. That is reality. Angelica, you know it. That's the reality that a lot of
No,
people.
yeah, some people settle out of fear of the unknown, having to start over. And, whether, because I'll agree with creative. Like, do I agree with it? No. I think that if you're being mistreated or maltreated, by your partner and you don't see that relationship as being viable anymore, then you should move on. But just as well as I can say that in real time, there are plenty of other people that are willing to say, you know what? This person has been physically and emotionally loyal to me in X, Y, and Z ways. We've been through so many things, we've built so much, and I just can't walk away from that. That's just not something that I'm willing to do. And then, there's some folks that just have too much at stake to walk away, and they look
I
at that
can't.
as well.
I can't do it. If it disturbs my peace and my sanity, I'm sorry, I cannot do it.
You
But
ain't going nowhere.
another problem is they paint a picture for the world, and behind closed doors, it's a whole different story.
I
And they try to
agree.
keep up with that image that they painted for the world because they don't want the world to see that they're damaged. They don't want the world to see that their relationship is failing. That's toxic. I don't got
Yes.
time.
And that's messed up because nowadays there's these new people going into relationships and they're wondering now how did people make this work? And people aren't being honest nowadays. And then
Mm-mm.
they turn around and then they're expecting all these expectations and they put on the generation that's coming up. And then they're shaming us when our relationships don't work out.
Uh,
No, I absolutely agree with that point, creative, and I think that that's a whole talking point as well. The shaming part of, why can't you successfully maintain a relationship when, especially, and this is not me like placing any blame, but especially when you weren't given the tools and the resources and the guidance to be successful in that. Because where you came from, they themselves weren't being honest about their own relationship and whether or not it was problematic or whether or not they got into some things that, they know that emotionally just were damaging to them. So I definitely think it's a conversation. I don't know how that would be framed. I don't have all the words for it right now, but yeah, I think it's a really good point.
Where you been at, gal? I've been done sent you that damn link. You late as hell.
Oh man,
Y'all,
I'm sorry. I just had to take care of a few things. Getting close to the first Tuesday in the month. So they calling the hell out of me now. Um, but what I wanted to say is, what I've noticed a lot in my practice. There are some properties you buy and you're only planning on holding them for a short period of time. I'm going to buy this property. I might do a little maintenance and rehab on it, but my goal is to flip that money into something else, grow a little bit. And I think sometimes we have to ask ourselves, when you go into a relationship, what are they shopping for? And what are you shopping for? Because a lot of our parents and grandparents, especially our grandparents, great grandparents, they had one option. This is the person you spending the rest of your life with, unless you run off somewhere and pretend you don't exist to the rest of your family. You want to be ashamed until the day you die if you come around your family. You were supposed to pick the person that you were going to die with, the person you're going to have kids with, the person you were going to watch die. That's why the word said, till death do us part. You were supposed to understand that part real seriously. It's like through sickness, through health, through through poverty, through wealth. Forgive me if I didn't say it right, but you got the idea. It was one extreme to another. That's these men were supposed to stay with these people. They didn't teach us how you dealt with a man who was abusive. They didn't teach men how to deal with a woman that cheated on them, but we know it happened.
Now
But
the
there comes a time in which you have to think there are things that are bigger than yourself. And where has two generations of, well, at least they're happy, gotten our kids and grandkids? Are they happier? Are they more well adjusted to building good relationships now that they've seen their moms, their grandmoms, and even their great grandmamas struggle through relationships?
now I would
Because
ask.
I got a son-in-law who's great grandma, and he's 24 years old. And I was like, "You how old?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm about 3 to 4 years older than you." And that's your great grandson? Oh my lord. We were definitely playing with a different set of tools at that point in time in our lives. But it's out there. It happened.
Now,
Um,
Michelle. Now, I want to ask this question. I want to ask this question. Um, that there's a perception that you hear in the space that the educated brother is always the best choice for women. The educated brother, or he's pretty much he's a good man. Is that true? And I know that you have the seniority in this. Has the educated brother always been a good, virtuous, upstanding man, or literally it's case by case? What's your thoughts on that?
It's case by case because I'm going to say it like this. Women want stability. So often a college degree is seen as a sense of stability and commitment. He committed to the 4 years to get that degree. He committed to the time it took to get that Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha Psi. He has a certain type of values because he did that. But it was also understood that the foreman at the plant had, you know, he had committed. He had been on that job, he had committed to a lifestyle. He was, upward mobility is important to women in any job, whether it's a death. Most women would rather have a, a foreman at a multi-million-dollar facility than an accountant that's, bringing home like just at $90,000. Because where's the growth potential? But you know, you can make yourself feel like, oh man, she one of them college girls. She ain't gonna want me to talk to her. Okay, first of all, how'd you find out she was a college girl? College girl. The way she presented herself gave you some indication. Maybe the way you talked to people around her gave some indication. But what is your best foot? What is your best foot for that you can put for a woman? Maybe you talk about how stable you are and how you have a plan for advancement. Because women are really big about advancement when you're talking to them about expanding their product line. Now, we're going to be expanding product lines. I damn sure don't need no 50-50 bill talking Negro in my line. And if I hear that in any of my goddaughter's line of vision, I'm cutting in right away. Because, yeah, when you have kids, it's expensive, but it also takes a lot of time and a lot of dedication.
Mm. But
Before you run to the store and buy Pampers, you gotta read up on it to make sure your child don't have a rash to it. All this EPA compliance. Did they not mine the materials in parts of South Africa? It's not simple like it used to be.
now, one brother says this: we mask the actual unhappiness in those long time relationships with the old love songs and movies. I would agree on that. I was, and I'm gonna say this, like intentional.
your audio is
It's
cutting,
loose.
BNT.
That we like to go by what happened. Yeah, I think they put me on a timer. Um, we have it where there's there's no absolutes. I know plenty of guys. Just because they got the paper, don't mean that they ain't ratchet as fuck. Like, trust me. I by the time I'm get off, they're like, let's go to the strip club. Let's go get some bitches. Versus I know some guys, they work at plants or whatever. They're like, hey, I'm going home, or I'm done. Like it depends on that of the man. You know what I'm saying? Like it depends on where their heart is at. Same way, and I'm gonna have the latter conversation. But it was asked about that. Shout out to Miss Shonda, Nurse Shonda. Why aren't black women um, checking the ratchet black women? I got to email all y'all. Me and Sheena already talked about it. That's gonna be one I have to go get at Creative and Michelle. Angelica, you always know that you always got to pass on to come through on that. But that's something that I don't know. Like when me and Shino talking about this, it's a case by case scenario because a fuck nigga is a fuck nigga, regardless. He ain't, whether he got a degree or not. You know what I'm saying? We can pull up all the stuff. The who was it on the show? The mayor of DC, and his ass was out
Yep.
there coke and shit and getting all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That was on the news. And guess what? They
Kwame,
still
Kirkpatrick too. Bring it to somewhere y'all might remember. Kwame, Jesse Jackson Jr. I mean, we ain't found nobody whose mouth is a prayer book and their ass is a Bible. Men, women, you know, she looked good. She looked good. Then a couple of years later, she started gaining weight. Hell, Beyonce ain't the same size that she used to be. And that heifer can pay somebody to exercise each arm and each buttock. But it is what it is. We sit up there and look at these celebrity romances. They all falling apart. All of them. The ones that are on the low key, where they kept their marriage to themselves. They worked hard on it. They raised their kids. It's like Denzel Washington. How many of y'all knew Denzel had a son that's an actor? They used to play professional football.
I didn't
I
even
mean,
know that.
Denzel got someone he can really be proud of that he produced with his wife. But he's still preferring to keep, his name out of it. He's proud of his son, but if you don't know, you don't know.
Now the thing about it is this. The thing about it is this is with all that's going on right now, why hasn't there been a ladder shift for women to go get these educated brothers? Why hasn't there been a ladder shift? Why aren't they going after these suit and tie educated brothers?
One in the black community, the main one that was a suit guy was the preacher or the mortician. And the mortician and the preachers were the main ones that were getting some. You didn't have a influx of doctors and lawyers in the black community. I mean, one doctor can treat 50 people. One lawyer can represent 100 clients. At the end of the day, y'all can sit there, yo, 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 yo. I know I could represent more than 100 clients. 100 people that can just come right out of their pocket with $3,000. Because guess what? There are attorney's fees you got to pay, as well as court costs, as well as clerk costs, as well as goddamn postage. See, people want to come up there. Yeah, I got money. I got money. Sometimes you need to slow your roll and think about, why are preachers the most accessible people in the church? Because they can roll up there and say, I don't care how little bank you're making. I can make you look good if you give me 10% of your bank.
I kind of think that it's up to the individual, especially, and I'm just basing my opinion. It's kind of biased based on my own personal experiences and the stories that I've been told. And I'll just kind of like really quickly go through it. Like my maternal grandmother was married at one point to my biological father's father. And he was very problematic, and she left him and she moved on to a man that was he was a shop steward for the postal service. And I think what one of the most powerful things for me that I ever heard, and it actually was from her about relationships, is that you'll figure out what you do want when you know all the things exactly that you don't want. And I think for all of us, it doesn't matter if we're men or women, we kind of go through that phase of trying to explore people. Some are more exciting than others. Some present more, well, better than others, and we kind of go through the motions of figuring out who it is that we want, and that particular character sets that's suitable for us and in a relationship. And I think sometimes we kind of simplify it as, women kind of go towards one thing and then men kind of go towards another thing, when I think all of it, essentially boils down to we all have our experiences and we have to figure out the things that we do want. Because I know guys that were young and they were hoes when they were young, and then one day they had an epiphany and they figured out that that's not the way to live. And vice versa for women, that they were, attracted to guys in the fast life and they had the money and the chains and the this and the that. And then one day they had the epiphany that I don't need this kind of guy. I need somebody who's a homebody, who's stable, who doesn't take me through, everything spontaneous. And I think even for past generations, it happened even still. I mean, I look at my grandparents on both my maternal and paternal side, and what I see is that even with them, even in the era that they lived in, they made a choice. And even in marriage, they looked up and they decided that this isn't working. Like I had a grandfather that came from Vietnam War. He was alcoholic at one point, would come home brandishing guns at, my grandmother and her children, one of them being my mother. And she said enough is enough. She went out on her own, divorced him, got a degree, was one of the first women to get a degree in the uh, uh, Delaware State University. And well, not one of the first, but one of the first women in her field. I'm sorry. And she moved on and married a man, black man from France, that he had a theatrical black background, and moved on. So I think, I think sometimes society will say one thing, and I think Bro Speaks podcast said that we mask it a lot of time, the unhappiness in the relationships, with like this pageantry of love songs and TV, movies, and media. When the reality is that a lot of people are making decisions for their own best interest, but they don't really talk about it. Some people decide to stay because they think it's better to keep the family intact, but I think just as much as there are those that stay, there are just as many that decide to leave and move on.
Yeah, I also think it's cultural because the black race, we haven't figured out our culture yet. Because I had a Nigerian woman tell me, she goes, you American women, you put sex is so important. Sex, 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 sex. You want to be with a man. You want him to sex, sex, sex you. I've had two sons for this man. His body is fat now. I don't want to sex, sex, sex him. I want to find me a lover. He can find him a lover. But we are still family. So the idea that she would travel and he would travel, but they had their marital home. As far as the kids were concerned, mom and dad. But don't ever think for 1 second any of those women were ever going to replace the mother. That was a Christian speaking. Then I met an Arab speaking one, and she was more adamant that at a certain point in time, she was out there helping her husband find a new wife. It was, the cultures are different, but you know, in European relationship, it was expected at some point in time the man would take on the mistress. I mean, how do they say you can't eat steak every night of the year? Even that would get boring. So there's this whole notion of, are we going for a relationship that we want to last forever? Are we going for a relationship that we're in it, but let's see how it goes? And then, If it's not giving us what we need, then let's jump off. We need to be honest about that when we're talking to people. I always tell people, drop an agreement. If you're gonna tell me, no, 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 Miss Michelle, we be too hot and horny to do that. Okay, then you're not in a relationship. If you get to the point in your relationship where you can't find a moment to sit down and say, this is how we're gonna do this. Put it down in writing and be like, okay, these are the rules we're gonna live by. No fucking nobody else in this house, this space. If I catch you fucking in another space, we done. No. If I catch you out at the bar with somebody else, you're gonna have to give me some good explanation for that shit. You know, most people have enough life experiences now that you stopped being a virgin when you were 15 years old. By the time you were 25, if you were a dude, you didn't probably, you were working hard to get those 20. Ladies, you were fighting off 25. And you would have had 35 if you hadn't been fighting. So we need to stop these prude ass attitudes. Yes, there's a common sense attitude, but how often do you need to talk to your grandmother about the emotions that you are feeling when I think one of the things my girlfriend said that was funniest, she got from her grandmother. She said, be careful. She said, because it's a lot harder to go through life with a 12-inch dick wanting to fuck every night than it is with a 6-inch dick. She said, I was married twice. I'm telling you, that 12-inch dick was a motherfucker.
Now, so other than that, you guys, it's almost just about time for me to go. The show I was trying to get you in earlier. I'm trying to get you in earlier. I want to wrap it up. We're gonna have Sheena wrap it up for the last word. Angelica, go ahead, girl. We got to get you on more often. You got my email.
Yeah, I think I have your email, BNT. I
You
think
gonna get
so. I have to double check. Don't take
yep.
my word for that comment, though. I guess to wrap it up, I will just say that sometimes we just have to be accountable for ourselves in the space of relationships. If our partners come to us and say that they've been harmed in some sort of way, don't try to tell them that whenever the incident happened that you didn't mean it, because that diminishes the claim of harm. That's one of the things that I can probably leave you guys with. But other than that, just always thanks for having me up. I appreciate it.
And I can say that communication is the key. Without communication, I believe you don't have much to go with. I enjoy speaking with everyone, and everyone have a blessed and safe night.
And as everyone's piecing out, don't be afraid to seek professional help, whether it be from your religious institution, your legal institution, or your family institution. Do not be afraid to ask. You won't know until you ask sometimes. Okay, peace out. Love y'all.
Well, you guys, we like to thank you guys. I definitely enjoyed this one. It definitely was a good conversation that I got to have with Attorney Michelle, Dara Pashina, Creative Solutions, as well as with Angelica Diallo, and also again with Super Mike. He always brings a good message. Thanks for everybody who's coming in the chat, from the podcast creators to that of the mods to that of you guys who put in an excellent amount of information. You guys always bring about some good information. Our culture has been disrupted many times, and we still trying to find our culture. Um, you know, you guys, you gotta figure out your median and where y'all want to be at with all this. You know what I'm saying? But definitely, please like, share, subscribe. Definitely support the channel, support the feed, and we hope to see you guys again. All right? I'm Joe with Therapist Sheena, or you just call me BMT. Peace. We'll see you guys later.